projects as well as international projects also I worked, and we have sent proposals. Of course, it's a interdisciplinary projects we have submitted here. So let us see, to begin with. So the grants announcement, now it has become very, IT related thing. You can, internet itself, you can go through all the. So we have to find out when the grant announcement comes from the website of the funding agency, understand what is the structure of the grant. It may be national, international, collaborative, what they expect, right? And now it is going to be online, and we have to understand lot of IT tools if you go through, because I was working for one European Union project in Finland. I will show you some few slides on that also. So there are a lot of IT tools in International Funding Agency, EU. Now similar thing has come, I think, in DST and other agencies also. And now evaluation is going to be everything on online, right? I also used to get a lot of proposals for online evaluation, right? And then description, get the details of the, this is the most important point, scope of the project, participating researchers, funding, timeline expected, etc. and deliverables. We will see each and everything. And any research proposal has got all these components: cover page, project summary, broad objective, of course with the cover page title, and the outcomes, list of participants, packages, work package description, project stock components like deliverables, milestone, budget, and critical risk, ethics review, and security, scrutiny. So we have to identify who are the beneficiaries: industries, institutions, or government for some policy making, and you have to select the project representatives, right? It may be interdisciplinary or the same department, or from this institute with the other institute. The PA may be from here, co-PAs may be from other institutions, right? Associated partners, it may be a research collaboration. There are many private and government laboratories are there. Sometimes we can collaborate with them also if our area matches or the grant matches, right? And researchers, when you want to employ the research project staff, at what level you want it at master level or PhD level, right? That means you, for PhD level you will take a master student, you will register for PhD, right? And number of work packages and deliverables, milestones, we will see each thing. And scope, objectives, and outcomes. See, the scope means what is the opportunities or the range, extent of area covered in a particular field of research. That is what is called the scope. In the research proposal, they will not write every detail. Every detail they will not give. They will give just the area of research and some scope they will give. And we have to identify. See, that is the success of any research proposal. We have to be very careful. And a few actionable, achievable goals must be identified by the researchers to match his or team expertise. We have got some expertise, myself and my team. I have to find out from the scope given in the proposal online, what are the achievable goals we have to identify, what I can do, what type of results I can do. I can take a big project, I will do this, that, then finally I am not able to deliver. Next time I won't get the project, right? That means the project is not successful. It's not merely getting the project, also successfully completing the project and getting a good review from the reviewers also, so that our name stays in the organization. Next time when you apply, you get the funding, right? That is very important. So objectives must be specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant, right? That is very important. It should be very specific, right? What you want to do, and measurable, quantify. What is your contribution? How much you have done? And achievable. You should be able to achieve, execute, and then get the results, and should be relevant for the objectives of the project. So we will see what is the work packages. This is a detailed work plan to carry out the set objectives. Generally we have 4 to 5 work packages, right? The total work, we are going to divide them into 5 components, right? Each component we are going to give in the form of work package, and we are going to describe what will be done in this. Not very detailed, but in the bullet points. So So the quantum of work, etc., the funding, inter-university, etc., we will see what is exactly a work package is. So in a work package, the detailed action plan is outlined using the relevant keywords, very important, relevant keywords as given in the objective of the proposal by the agency, right? Some keywords you have to identify and use them. Written very briefly in small number of paragraphs. No detailed procedure is required here, and methodology, tools, everything we have to mention, and technical particulars, relevant to the proposal also should be there. So the project staff component, so this we can know whom we are going to employ, what is going to be his salary, his accommodation, his perks, etc. We have to design accordingly. This is required for budgeting also. And what are the deliverables? This is very, very important. Actual, useful, measurable, tangible, intangible output from the project. They are called deliverables. What is tangible? The physical facilities, physical assets. You have developed a machinery, you have developed a component, you have established a laboratory, facility, created for testing. So this is called tangible. Not intangible, non-physical output. It may be an intellectual property, patents, softwares or publications also, research publications. They are all called intangible. So demonstration, implementation, all these things called non-tangible, documentation, etc. Right? So these are what we call them as deliverables, milestones. So every project, what is called a life cycle, what you call time cycle. It's got a time cycle, 3 years. 3 years a time cycle. So starting today, the time is 0 now. At the end of 3 years, we are going to submit the output to the agency. So in this time cycle, we are going to divide this cycle into number of points. This is called the milestones. So each work package will be completed at what period of time. Some work package may require 6 months, some may require 8 months, something like that. So we have to plan for this. It helps the researchers to forecast any delay due to some unforeseen reasons. Why we have to prepare the milestone? If we expect something, this particular season only I am going to work, in this season there won't be any rain, in this season the temperature is going to be high, I can't work in this period, so I give extra time, so that you are able to execute on time. So this is called the milestone. So if we properly do this, then there is no need to take any extension for the project. So the deliverables and milestones are interlinked with each other, right? That we should remember. So the budgeting. This is the financial aspects of this project. So financial planning is very, very important, crucial for implementation of the project. Allotment of funds for equipment, computational facility, salary, cost of accommodation for project staff, everything, and whatever facilities available in the university also can be used. Other facilities you have to see. List of critical risk ethics review. This they use in Europe and other countries very typically. Type of experiments, investigation. Sometimes you are working on a fire, so you work on high pressure boilers. See, above 10 bar pressure or some specific value is there. You want to do experiment, you need to have a boiler certified person. He only can operate the boiler, not other people. So if any explosion, fire accident happens, then it is going to be a problem. So all such things one has to take care, right? And physical injuries we should avoid. Any environmental clearance is required for the proper things, we have to get it. Sometimes you submit without these, your proposal will come back, because some reviewers, some government agency will put a red mark question. So these things you are not provided, that where permission you have taken. So the project cannot be done. And academic ethics, it is very important. We have to cite all the references, whatever we have used for our project work, right? And security scrutiny, sharing data of national information with the foreign colleagues. Whenever we work with the foreign collaboration, you should take permission from the Government of India, Home Ministry, whether we can share this particular data. There are some rules and regulations. One has to go through this. This is what we call, the security and the scrutiny. I was visiting Cardiff. My professor has sent me the invitation. He will be working on nuclear waste disposal related work. So when Chennai, when I went to the visa office, they told, when in Delhi, you go and come back. We are not giving the visa right now. Because the nuclear waste disposal, again, It's sort of a confidential work between countries. It was not through. Then I sent a mail to my professor. After 3 months, I got my visa to visit the country. What I'm telling is, this is what you call the security concern of their country. So their country, in the embassy, they may think, I'm going there to find out their secrets, to bring it to India, something like that. So this thing also we have to take care, whether it involves in our project. So this is the EU proposal, what is called the Horizon. So the topic destination, sustainable, secure and competitive energy supply. So this is the broad objective. We were proposing some ground source heat pump system and biomass gasification for space heating. Energy efficient, environment friendly, space heating system. We were proposing for I think more than some 30-40 million euros we were preparing. And these are all the outcomes. What are the outcomes, right? To facilitate wider uptake of this thing, develop digital tools, develop strategies to improve social awareness about the project. So there the social awareness is very, very important, right? You should take the confidence of the public to accept it. Now we wrote in the form of work packages, work package 1, 2, etc. So mathematical models in energy with specialization in statistical tools. Something like this we wrote, right? And this is the work package 3, energy forecasting experts, with the energy management specialization. Likewise, we have to give a title and then write all the bullet points. What you plan to do. You want to develop some tool. See, we also included social science and humanity experts, because in the call they also mentioned, right? When you install a particular system, how the neighboring people will consider this. I put in Europe, if you put a new system here in your house as a facility, other people may think he has brought something new. So we should make the society also to be aware of the particular technology. This is what we did. This is social science. This is how the work package has to be written. Like just to show the sample and just to show. Right? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You have to check the grammar and usage of words. I already told you. So, though I mentioned for 4 times you have to read, at least 2 times you have to read. To tell you very frankly, any researcher after writing the paper for 3 months sitting reading once again becomes very tough. Very tough. And second time it is going to be much more difficult. We have to accept it. It is difficult only, but we have to do it. Of course, there is a supervisor who will also read. I read my students' paper at least twice. I will read from first page to last page without fail. Then only I will approve that you can go ahead. Likewise. The reason I will tell you why we have to read, I will share an experience. One of my research scholars was writing a paper for ASME, Journal of Heat Transfer. So he gave me the first draft. I read it, it was all right. Then second draft, then third draft we were reading, we are able to submit to the journal. Everything is all right. When I was reading the third time, I found in the second page, I found one paragraph, long paragraph, I cut and brought it to the first page. I think third page or some paragraph, I cut it and pasted in the second page and brought some other paragraph from there to here, to the third page. I only read 2 times. Then why I am doing the third time? And also when you are reading, you have to give a gap of at least 2 weeks, right? At least you have to give a gap of 2 weeks or 3 weeks if possible. Even I asked my students, you have written this first paper, just to take a break, you go out, take some leave, go home, and or do some other work. And again, after some time, you take the paper, now you read it, your perception has changed, right? Your perception has changed. Now you have a different ideas. This is how, when I was reading third time, I changed this paragraph. Then I called my student, I gave him, sir, it reads now very well, sir. In the same format, the paper was accepted. The good news is there was not much review comments, except the comments on some tabular column and some bigger number, etc. No technical content. Some equation, one term was missing or something, they asked us to read through. No other technical comments was there in ASME Journal of Heat Transfer. So what I am trying to say is, when you read multiple times, at least 3 times, with a time break, very important. I read now, tomorrow you read, definitely you will get bored. Yesterday only I read, I remember many things. You will not make any corrections, even if it is there. You will never find any corrections. It is impossible, right? So you have to give a gap of some 2 weeks, right? And read as a reviewer, finally. Of course, the supervisor will read as a reviewer, in this case. The style, structure, the way of organizing the detail, language is the words. So somewhere I read, I will share it, not enough to make a document easy to read, it should be also be difficult to misunderstand. What I mean by this is ambiguity. See, we make sentences with a lot of ambiguous meaning. What do you mean by ambiguous? The sentence will give you more than one meaning, right? Somebody reads, you get one meaning, another person reads, you get another meaning. It should not be, right? But it is written perfectly all right, grammatically, everything, but it should not be ambiguity. And then illustration, effective illustration method one has to follow. And then rules of English. I always refer Strunk and White. Strunk and White. White was the professor, Strunk was his student. Both of them wrote this paper, The Elements of Style, Macmillan, 1972. Though it is an old book, it is a very golden book. Everyone should read if you find time. This talks about the style of, elements of style. And the University of Chicago also has come up with an edition. These things are available freely in PDF in the internet. You can find out. Important rules of Strunk and White, some few points I will share. Choose a suitable style and hold to it. Use the active was and definite specific concrete language, right? You always go for normal sentences, simple sentences, not long sentences. When you write long sentences, don't forget, English is not our first language. Don't try to use clause and phrases. Definitely we are going to do a mistake. Let us write simple, basic sentences. That is good enough. No editor expects you are master in English. Except an English department, professor writes a paper about the language. But for technical content, the language should convey the meaning. That's it. Other person should understand, right? And take it in your own way. Whatever, you should always use active voice. Don't go for passive voice. Passive voice definitely will do some mistakes, right? And then whatever it comes, natural way you have to use it. Your natural language, right? You cannot change your style now. Your style is fixed. Our style is fixed already in school days or maximum first year in the college. Beyond that, we cannot touch it, right? Let us go with the natural style. And there are some phrases generally we use which can be revised in a simple way in view of the fact. You can simply replace it with since and or because at this point in time, then. The right side one gives the same meaning on the left side, but left side gives a long sentence, right? Being opinion of the fact that somebody will write. It is not required, right? I believe. Such things I have given many. Again, I will skip. You can read them later, right? Some rules on writing style. Write in a way that comes to you naturally. That is your own style. Let us not copy somebody else's style. When we read many research articles, definitely we will be impressed with the language what they used. Enjoy, forget it. Don't try to copy the style, right? And every style is unique. It has to be unique. My style is unique, your style is unique, right? So work from a suitable design. Revise and rewrite. The qualifiers rather, pretty, we should not use. Again, it's a technical article. Our aim is to share our research work, research contributions for the betterment of the society, sharing with our fellow researchers, right? Do not affect a breezy manner. It should be, when somebody reads, it looks like a breeze, right? How it is, flows gentle and gives a lot of comfort and happiness for us. In this case, technical paper, when somebody reads, it's just like a breeze. It just flows through him, through his heart, right, mind, and enhances his learning process, right, understanding. It should be a very breezy manner, be clear, very important. If you are not understood anything, please don't write a sentence. Discuss with your supervisor, your colleagues, our fellow students, again try to understand first. We should be clear before we propose to others. So that is the meaning. Avoid using colloquial or conversational language. We should use proper language, right? Proper language. We should not use any colloquial language or conversational. We should use I did the thing, we did the work, like this. I, we should be avoided, right? Nobody writes I, we. So then communicating to the journal, when we communicate, the final check, you have to check the format given by the journal paper and comments from the reviewers once we review, and make sincere attempts to answer all the queries. Especially each journal is going to give you a 1 month, 6 weeks or 4 weeks time to revise the paper. So when you submit the paper, if the editor sends you back the paper with the review comments, that means you are 80% through. Only 20% is left out, right? See, the 20% only many people fail, unfortunately. Why? They don't have enough patience. The journal gives you 6 weeks, they will send it in 2 weeks. Make use of all the time, right? Make use of all the time given to you. The time will not come back to you again. Once he rejects, that's it. So, we have to make use of all the given time, go through each and every question, right? We should take sincere attempts and answer all the queries with the technical support. If required, modify the journal papers accordingly, right? If it is for a minor, revision. So, make use of the given time, update the references, right? And don't miss the chance to win the battle. I always tell my students, once you receive the review comments, the paper should be through. We never lost the paper after the review comments. Right? All our papers have gone through. Right? So this we know that. So by communicating papers, we share our research with the international community, and this may bring some international networking also. I have my own experience, right? I got such contacts I used to visit, and you get connected and you learn something new, and you have the satisfaction they have contributed in my field of research. And also it helps the department and the institute, for their own growth. See, when you are writing a paper with the support given by the institute and the department, right, you are also indirectly contributing to the institute. An institute is evaluated based on what? The facilities, of course, the teachers, and their research contributions. Okay? So I always tell my students, failure means you are not yet succeeded yet, nothing else. If the paper rejected, definitely you feel very bad. My students also sometimes my student one paper got rejected from 2 papers, 2 journals. First journal rejected, second journal rejected. Third journal where it was accepted, scientific papers published by Nature Publishing Group, right? Yeah. So likewise, you should not feel bad about yourself that I am not worth. It's not like that. So maybe the reviewers have got different views. So let us be gentle, take it in a good spirit, and see when it comes back whether I can improve. I have got another chance. I can spend 1 more week or 10 more days. I will submit to another suitable job. So that should be the spirit. Right? Thank you. This is a seminar overview. So what is the importance of publications? Everyone has got the potential for doing research. Everyone is doing a good research also. But if you want to see how to take this research or recognition outside, and also to get connected with people working in the same area of research in the national level as well as in international level, one has to publish his research work to the outside world. For that only there are number of journals out there, international journals. Here I will focus on how to write international journal papers, because when I was guiding my research scholars at IIT Roorkee, we always focus on writing journals Q1 and Q2 journals, papers on writing only Q1 and Q2 journals. The reason is we have to think high. You can also think of writing journal papers for nature publications. You know that the highest impact factor. So this is what I used to see. Tell my students, you have to think high. Everyone has got the potential. Here I am going to give you some guidelines how to organize your research work and how to handle the review comments when we receive from the journal after some time. So we always see that research is nothing but represent the footprints of a research scholar or for a teacher, those who are organizing, or for a scientist. It's a footprint. It will tell you your name, you will be remembered. Like I just now visited Dr. Kush Museum in your building. Really, I mean, how much contribution. See, you are sitting here and doing this, I mean, studying this thanks to him, his contributions. See how he was recognized, how the government or the country came to know about him because of his interactions with other countries, publications, revealing his work to the other people so that everyone can enjoy. Sometimes you may think what you are doing is a very small research. We don't know. It may be useful some corner of the world, somewhere, right? We should not hesitate, right? Reluctant to publish our work. But there is certain rules how to write a paper. This is what I am going to share in this. Especially for teacher, when you are writing a paper, when you publish a couple of papers in some standard international journals, naturally you gain confidence. When you go to the class next time, your way of teaching, looking at the students and handling their questions is going to be entirely different. Right? That is the advantage of publishing one research paper. So publishing research paper in standard journals like Q1 and Q2, I will say it is not that easy. It is going to be very difficult also, but I will never say it is impossible. Right? It is possible for everyone. So generally the research paper can be classified under full paper, short note, discussion, article, etc. We are going to discuss on the full paper only. So what are the good qualities of a good research article? What is the good qualities, how it is judged? The editor receives your paper and he identifies some reviewers, the experts in the field, and he sends them with their permission. So I continue to review many research papers for Q1 and Q2 journals for Elsevier, Springer, Taylor and Francis, ASME, all such journals. 2 days back also I accepted for reviewing one paper for a particular journal. So it is a sort of a confidential work. They won't reveal the name of the authors. Only the technical content of the paper will be sent to us and we have to give our inputs so that the editor can take a decision. So what we expect, I mean what a good quality paper is expected from the journal. So the visible contributions for the advancement in your field of research, you are doing a particular field of research, the visible contributions, what exactly you are going to contribute for this, how somebody can make use of your research, and educating the readers. Let us say you have published a paper, some research scholar, he is in the first year, he wants to enhance his knowledge in this field. When he reads the paper, he should be able to understand what is written in the paper, able to grasp the idea and the novelty in the paper. Enough evidence in support of the hypothesis. You may give a new idea, new method, new processes, but we should provide enough support. Right? Unless we give that, the paper cannot be considered for publications. And the experimental and numerical validation, this is the most important part of it. So generally when we do the research, we should compare whether our research is on par with the standards followed internationally. For this reason, we always take a test problem for which already results are available in the literature, and we show them that our methodology, our approach, or our experimental results, they also are the same nature, what is already published in the journal paper, with some error, of course, right? Acceptable error. So this is what we call numerical work, numerical or experimental validation. Wherever is possible, it should be done. Otherwise, the editor will send back the paper and he will ask, you are proposing a new method, where is the validation? How to rely on your methodology. So, this is an important component of any research paper. And readability. You should be able to, anyone should be able to understand easily the language and relevance to a broader community. Parts of a good research article, it consists of three components: beginning, middle and ending. This is just to give you an overall picture how you can look at a paper. It is first the beginning, title, abstract, summary, and then middle of the paper where you are going to give all the details like governing equations, experimental setup, research and discussion, and ending, conclusions. So this perspective we should have before writing the paper. Now we can go to the details. In the beginning, you have to choose the title that orients the readers towards the research. The keywords what you are using in the title should represent your research area, and any typical thing, any new thing, any novel thing you are proposing in a paper, that also should appear, right? So it can be done by means of trial and error. One can frame one title and then again make some 2-3 titles you can try out. And then abstract summary tells what happens in the middle of the article. That should be a abstract. Every journal paper specifies it should be of 300 words or 200 words, etc. So here we need not to write more detail, just to the point. What is the methodology, what problem we have taken up, what results we have obtained, how they are relevant. This much only. And introduction. Introduction, many people mistake it, it is a literature survey. It is not a literature survey. Introduction is nothing but the foundation. Any building, first we put the foundation, then only we raise the building. So our research work is going to be the building, and for that there is a foundation. What type of foundation? In the literature, how many research works are already published in our own area of research, which we are going to discuss in detail in the paper, right? In the remaining part of the article. And who are the persons contributed already? There are some classical papers, always. You have to refer. You cannot write a paper without referring them. That paper might have been published in 1970. You have to refer it. That shows indirectly to the editor. So this researcher has gone deep into his research. That's why he has not missed out the classic paper. We have to refer the recent articles as well. So the latest work, whatever is available. In general, when a research paper is organized, any researcher will go through minimum 30 to 40 references. They have to go through the references and understand the gist of the paper, what is their contribution, how relevant to the present work, what you are going to write in the paper, right? So this is what we call the literature. It should be limited just to 2.5 pages only, 2.5 pages, not beyond that. Again, on this also, some journalists, they put the restriction. How many pages you can go about it. This is about the restriction. Introduction. At the end of the introduction, we are going to write our work. What is the novelty of the work? Then we go in detail in the following chapters. The middle. Middle consists of governing equations, numerical method, etc. If it is going to be a numerical work, you are using a software, or you are written a code for this, a simulation work or mathematical work, or it is going to be experimental work. We have to show what is the experimental setup, what are the instruments we have used, what is the make of the instruments. You can give it in the form of a tabular column, and what variables you are going to measure using this instrument, and what is the range of the instrument, how this, what is the error you will get from every variable, from every instrument. There is no instrument available in the world which can measure a variable without any error. And your results also, when we publish, you should say that what is the reliability of your results. We can predict this particular value plus or minus 5% or 10%, right? And one has to report all the results honestly, right? That is a must. So that is so we should tell the readers these are the instruments we have used and measured, and each one has got so much of error, and the error also Finally, you have to make use of propagation of error principle from statistics. You might have studied this propagation of error, and then find out what is the total error in the final parameter, right, which you are computing, right? So this is what we call experimental setup and validation of results. I already told. Then discussion on the results, a detailed discussion. It has to be in a organized way, right? It has to be written in a very organized way, in a logical sequence, and comparison with the other works. So wherever is possible, we have to compare. So this particular author also has published a similar work. Our work also comes nearer to this, and it explains the physics. So whenever we write the results and discussion, the most important part is we are going to discuss the illustrations or figures or tables. Generally, we make use of figures only. It becomes very easy, visual. So we always have a tendency to write XY axis. When this parameter increases, this parameter decreases. Such sentences should not be written in a research article. When you vary the X variable, X parameter, the Y parameter varies in a particular fashion. You can initially tell it follows a linear, non-linear, logarithmic, exponential. That's fine. But we have to explain what is the physics behind this. So without having any knowledge of the research or background, anyone can understand looking at the figure, it's an exponential, non-linear, linear variation. See, my presence is not required. When I am writing, I should write why it is varying like this in our own words, right? In our own words. We should not take any sentences from outside, from literature. We can read many things from the literature, but whatever we want to write, we should write in our own wordings, right? And for that purpose, see, English is not our first language. It's our second language. Even then, Indians are rated very good internationally about our language. So it is nothing wrong to keep a thesaurus in front of us and use some different words, right, and find out. So what is important is the physics. What is the physics behind each figure? That physics you have to find out. It will take time. It will take time. These physics only has to be discussed in the journal paper. And then comparison with other works, explanation of illustrations. All the figures have to be explained in detail. Again, quoting the physics, here you can bring all the laws, whatever you have studied, relevant to the subject, highlighting the contributions. So when we write results and discussion, it may run, let us say, the text itself from 8 to 10 pages, plus the figures. I'm talking about a research article, which is of some 40 pages. This is generally what we do. 40 to 45 pages we write the journal paper, and illustrations will be some 12 to 15 illustrations in the form of figures. For such an article, we write some 8 to 10 pages or the write-up in our own language. So here we have to explain only the physics, and here we have to highlight the points. What is our important contributions? And then conclusions. Ending, preferably in bullet points, present contributions and limitations. The bullet points, we can write some 4 or 5 bullet points. Some you can give some numerical values, like our method has saved the energy by 20%, 15%. And some bullet points should be of qualitative. It should be of qualitative. We not write the numbers always, right? Both should be mixed up. And then acknowledgement, reference and appendix. This is how a paper, is organized. Before writing, we have to consolidate all the results, whatever we have obtained. Staple them in the form of figures, keep it there. And then we have to identify what is the scope, range, limit and opportunity. The limitations of our research also should be mentioned. And wherever is possible, we should not write that my work is the best, but we should be confident, right? My work should be published. I have done enough research, but it should not be overconfident. See, there we have to put the limit. And we should be very honest. We should also mention what is the limitations of the present research. Humbly we can write, we have done this much research, it will be continued as a second paper. in future research. So what is the scope we have to find out, and what are the objectives, what is the goal, aim, for what purpose we are doing. Limit only to 3 to focus points. What do you mean by these focus points? We have taken up a particular problem. In that problem, how much time you can do research? 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years. One can keep on working on particular research area so many years. There is endless. But for your research, PhD or a master thesis, is a time bound. Even any research problem also has to be dealt with time bound. We need research, then only we can move on to the next problem. So we have to restrict our focus points, that means our contributions. What is the novelty? What are the new things you want to propose? When somebody reads your paper, when he completes the paper, he should get a knowledge, oh, this is the new thing I have found. Point number 1, 2, 3. Something he should carry with him. This is what we mean by the focus points. These focus points are nothing but our contributions which others have not done. Unless these focus points are unique, novel, new to the journal, the paper will not be accepted. As a reviewer, I always accept. I will always go through the results and discussion and read very carefully what is the focus points and what is their contribution. I also have to do literature survey, right? I will go through some important references, whatever they mention. I immediately take out the papers, I read myself. It is not an easy job. I will read myself and then I will find out whatever they claim, is it true? Everything we do as a reviewer, right? So these focus points are very, very important. That we have to identify from our results. 3 to 4 focus points. We should be very clear what are these focus points, what are these contributions from my research. So, outline of the article. So before start writing the article, we have to decide what are the major sections of the article, like introduction, governing equations, problem description, results and discussion. Different sections we have to, decide. Focus points in the beginning, middle and end of the article. The focus points which I told you, this is our contributions, research output, right, which others have not done. Only in this paper it is available. So since it is our work, we should insist these points at 3 places. First at the beginning, middle and end of the article. What is this beginning? I told you the introduction can be written in 3 pages. 2.5 pages we will write about other literature, what they have done, etc. The last 1 paragraph is very, very important for us. When I organize research paper for my students, I give importance on this. What I write in this? From the detailed review of the literature, we observed there are many research works are available on this particular area. However, there are very few research available. We should never write, we are the first one to do the research. There are millions of paper. Have you gone through all the millions of paper? Never. Not physically possible. So we should be humble here. We have to write, there are only few articles available which deals with such type of problem. So in the present research, even in this, we have considered this particular problem and we are going to analyze using this technique. We are going to study the effect of these particular parameters and we will discuss all these things in results and discussion in the following section. So as a reviewer, I will always go through the last paragraph, what they have written, what they are going to do, right? Is it relevant for the research? So this is very, very important at the beginning in the introduction, at the last paragraph, the middle, results and discussion. So once we have mentioned what we are going to do now, and then in the middle, during results and discussion, when we explain the illustrations, figures, at many places, we have to mention what is our contribution, that is 3-4 points, right? Indirectly. We should not write focus point 1, focus point 2. No. It should be in subtle way. It should be in a subtle way. There also we have to insist. And then finally, at the end means in conclusions. I told you in bullet points we are going to write in conclusions. There also we have to mention. the idea is, when we insist our points, our focus, our contributions on the introduction, the results and discussion, and the conclusions, a reader cannot forget these points. At the end of reading, he has to remember, right? The reader will always remember these points. So this is how we have to write at 3 points. And conclusions already we have given. See, in a well-written research article, when you read abstract and conclusion, it should give you the overall glimpse of the paper, what the paper is going to talk about it. Suppose you want to read some 30-40 papers, how much time will be available for you? Some important papers you can go through in detail. Other papers, just read the abstract and the conclusion. You will get the complete picture about the paper. And whenever you get some doubt, you want to refer, then you go to the particular section of that paper and then you can read it. So this is a sort of a grammar for writing good paper. Actual writing. So when we start writing the paper, then we are going to elaborate each section using different paragraphs. So one paragraph should explain one central point. See, when we write a thesis or anything, definitely there is going to be number of pages, and each page consists of number of paragraphs. So each paragraph should have a central point, right? Each paragraph should have a central point. We have to use proper transitional devices to connect sentences and paragraphs, right? Because a paragraph consists of number of sentences and each sentence consists of number of words, right? So when you write a paragraph which indicates a particular point, so this is organized using different sentences. So what is the first sentence, second sentence, third sentence? There should be a logical connectivity, right? There should be a logical connectivity. Then only any reader can understand. It is just like a free stream flowing, right? So this we have to take care when we write the paper. And then cite relevant references. We should give due credit to the references from which we have learned about the background for the research, and again getting some data or some procedure, understanding the research in a better way. So we should not fail to quote the references. It is very, very important. Then only other readers are going to give our references when they read our paper, right? It's a give and take policy. We should give proper relevant references. Sometimes we think that I want to give 40 references, I will mention only the references. No, you have to refer them at the relevant places inside the research article. So we have to go through the references, collect the references which are relevant to us, right? We need not to include other papers. Just for the sake of I have referred 40 papers. That doesn't matter at all in a research article, right? In a research article, people are looking for your contribution. What is the new thing? What is the novelty you are going to share with your, fellow researchers in the world, right? And give due credit to them, to the references. Avoid giving opinions, provide statements supported by science. See, we cannot give our personal opinions when you write a research article. There is nothing like a personal opinion. Whatever sentence we write, it should be supported by experimental or some theoretical laws. I cannot give my own personal opinion. It doesn't have any place in a research article. This we have to be very careful while organizing the paper. And then I will show some transitional devices. Want of time, I will skip many things. To add, you want to add two opinions to when you are writing the paragraph, right? You want to add two sentences. You can use and, again, and then, besides, equally, important. Again, depends upon the context. Please remember, not just like that. It depends upon what is the first sentence and what is the second sentence. How are you going to connect them, right? So this is the thing, and to compare. Whereas, but, yet, on the other hand, however, like this, right? So there are, many transitional devices I have given in this PowerPoint, right? Anyhow, I am going to share this PowerPoint with your organizer. You can go through later, right? So once we have completed the revised article, complete writing, it is called a draft paper. It's a draft, first draft. Then we have to revise the article for the following: logical flow of information. you just check only for the logical flow of information in the form of language, some grammatical mistake or some wordings you want to change. I told you we can always keep a thesaurus. I want to be very honest. I have a thesaurus in my phone also, mobile also, and laptop also. Even I have a book also, right? I tell my students, you don't refer, don't hesitate. Let us accept our limitations. I told you, English is not our first language, right? If you want to improve the quality of the paper, we have to do this. So logical flow of information, how it flows, and then second round you have to read, second time you have to read once again, technical contents. Here you are going to read only about your research contribution, how you have organized, the procedure, error analysis, the results and discussion, the physics behind the illustrations, and what is your contribution, 3 to 4 bullet points, have I mentioned in all the 3 places. This is called the technical content. And then